they will destroy them. I mean, some, earlier than others, but eventually they'll psychologically, assimilate, and then they'll, self-destructive, and that's what we see in terms of mental health, and that's why eventually we're going to get into psychopathic or racial personality, so people have a better foundation and realize how white people see us, how some of these, universities act towards, our black intellectuals, especially our, revolutionary, intellectuals. So it's just important right now to really educate our people as soon as possible so they can think without needing Abrahamic religion or needing whether it be a religious cult or a political cult, that our people can think and depend on one another. Because right now what happens is that a lot of times we associate organization with being in a cult, and one of the main reasons why we're doing the study group is to build confidence in our people, so we aren't apathetic and always dependent on something that's abstract.
Now see, I'm kind of in between on reparations. Every presidential candidate running is promising reparations to blacks for slavery in the form of money. Yet I'm seeing a lot of generational curses on black families, which came from slavery. We're suffering from PTSD, and you touched on mental health. And if you notice, when the black man was emancipated, he only replicated what he saw the master do to the black woman, to call her a bitch, to call her a whore, to call her a wench, any name possible. He also watched them beat them. And our elders do not like to talk about. Like if you were to go to your great-great-grandfather, if he was still alive, to talk about how he grew up. We have a tendency of sweeping things under the rug. And I think that is one of the problems we have, is not discussing everything that those before you went through to get you to the place that you're at now. That we don't have that appreciation for our ancestors.
Well, I think one thing that is kind of scary for a lot of people is that they don't want to associate religion with slavery and psychological, enslavement. So a lot of people, they want to still be able to have their religion, have the patriarchy or whatever people want to call it, and not dismantle those systems that are oppressive. And we saw with even, the Black Panther Party, they were very vocal about dismantling certain things, and they were very vocal about getting black men to value themselves and value the leadership of women. But I think what's hard for people is that even, with our study group, we're reading what happened with Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam, and him standing up for teenage black women, even if it meant going against Elijah Muhammad. And what we see often is that if Malcolm was murdered for standing up for black women, and no one is really speaking against the behavior that led to him being murdered. And I mean, of course, I know they were working with the government in conjunction to assassinate him, but what I'm saying is that if we don't support people like Malcolm who stand up for black women, then if there's no punishment for what they did to Malcolm, if we don't create a culture where we demand that black women are respected and valued, then we'll continue to perpetuate the same systems, that exist.
Okay. Because I had a conversation, and I'm like, what we really need to start doing is catching our young youth in college that are majoring in political science. We have the Tea Party, We have the Green Party.
Yeah.
We have the Democrat. We have the Republican. But there's not a party of inclusiveness. We don't have anyone to lobby, meaning to go pay for things for the black community. And it seems like we're waiting on someone to lead us.
Yeah.
See, in my time, it was Dr. King. Well, when Dr. King got killed, we've been dreaming. See, that speech, I have a dream, he didn't mean, that march was to go pick up the paycheck. That's what that march was for. It's for everything that was promised us. We were going to go pick up our paycheck. And that's when he said, do you know the government is giving white farmers land? They're giving them machinery to till the land at very low interest rates. They're giving them credit, but yet they're telling the black man to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. We're going to pick up our check. And what diverted him away from that speech was Mahalia Jackson saying, Martin, tell him about the dream. That was not really the purpose of that march. And also you're going to find out that Jesse Jackson had a lot to do with Dr. King being murdered. When you start researching, when you start looking at, and Dick Gregory was right over here at Bonsante 2 weeks before he died. That man was in perfect health. Perfect health. They're slowly deleting all of his videos off of YouTube because he knew too much. He knew entirely too much, and he talked. He was trying. He would get with a young brother like you and start talking, and he'll get mad and slam his hand. And go, you still not listening. You're a fool. You're still not listening to what I'm saying. But it seems to me that the people from the Holocaust and generations after them are still receiving reparations because scientists have done tests showing that the PTSD of the person that went through all the horror of the Holocaust, that it's genetic. So that means that it goes from generation to generation. The Holocaust didn't last for 100 years like slavery. So if you're talking about PTSD, black people are walking PTSD. Also, we don't read. Our DNA was not meant for alcohol, which is called spirits, which the Indians call devil juice. It wasn't made for that. But again, give me your address, give me the dates and times.
It is 5206 South Harper. Just make sure. 5206. Oh, right. This is right here. So and it's Sunday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And
2 to 4 on Sunday.
2 to 4 on Sunday, and we're reading final speeches, and we're going to go through the entire Black Power movement and the Black Liberation movement from the perspectives of both black men and women. So just come join us, and we're reading at a pace where everybody can read and understand. So
okay, thanks a lot for the interview.
No problem.
Now I have